Hey, Shalom. Okay, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to our apostles of Great Millstone, elders of GMS. Okay, and salutation, peace, and much blessings to the hopeful elect of the children of Israel, people of Negro, Latino, and Indian descent. All right. Okay, let me show you a good example of the scriptures here. Okay, but first let me read it. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And when you read down, you'll know that the many waters is speaking of many nations and nationalities that's come unto Babylon, that partaken unto her abominable ways. Okay, the great whore, and that's the great whore, that great whore which opened herself up to the world. You know, that's what a whore does. A whore opens her legs, and then she's violated, you know. And in her mind, she's opening her legs so that she can benefit, from opening her legs. So she can profit from opening her legs. A whore. What else would a whore be? And I'm kind of curious what does it say a whore is here? A prostitute or a whore. You probably noticed that one thing they can't do is be specific on things, these damn devils. And I'm surprised this first one he's even said is a woman who sells her body for sexual uses. A prostitute, and this is the great whore, this is America, a prostitute, a harlot. Okay, one who yields herself to defilement for the sake of gain. And I mean, it don't get any better than that, because Babylon is full of, it's nothing but a consuming debt, debt-based nation. This place consumes, and regardless if they build it with no care of if they build a debt from it or not, they just continue to consume and consume. Okay, any woman indulging in unlawful sexual intercourse, whether for gain or for lust. Okay, Babylon, Rome, the chief seat of idolatry, and that's correct as well, because America is just the rebirth of the ancient Roman Empire. It's the modern day form of the ancient Roman Empire. All right, Rome. It's interesting. Okay, so let me continue on. Okay, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Okay, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. Okay, and that's simple. The kings of the earth who allowed America to have to station military bases in their countries, and for the sole purpose of being able to trade with her. So it's simple. They simply just took on the American way, and that's all of the American ways. From the Moism to the the overmuch liberty with women and all that goes with it, man. And the serving of many different gods and on and on. So it says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet covered beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color and decked with gold and precious stones. Let me see if I can remember that again. Those 7 horns. German minor, German major, Britain, um, France, uh, cloudy mind, and there's a couple of others. This seems to just always escape me. Um, uh, England. Uh, oh man, this escaped me. Anyway, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness in her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Okay? And I'm going to do this here, which is, where she go? Which is going to further help my cause on this video. Here we go. This is what I need the most, 18. 18:3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. The merchants. Okay, so let me do this. And this just hit me. To do this search here. It helps give you a better visual on what the scripture is referring to. Okay, and I don't know what it's going to offer me, but it's worth a try. The top 5 suppliers of U.S. goods imports in 2022 were China at 536.3 billion, Mexico at 454.8 billion. Now I didn't even know that. The Mexico. Okay, Canada 436.6 billion, Japan 148.1 billion, and Germany 146.6 billion. Countries and regions, I say trade representatives. Okay, I want them all. Because even though these are China, Mexico, Canada, Japan, Germany, those are all different nationalities, nations. Those are different nations. Whereas that's a good example, but there's a lot more. Ooh, there we go. United States imports by country. Leading import countries World War II. Okay, let's do that. And this is what, from 2017? Show more. That's what it's referring to. Okay. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And look, and those are in billions, man. These are billions. I mean, as you go down, it's billions. Billions, still billions. Billions. Have waxed rich through her. Billions, billions. And then finally, Uruguay, Madagascar, Kenya, Siberia. Still rich, still money that, that the kings is pocketing. Latvia, Ethiopia. wax rich. And even though it's chump change, a lot of these, compared to the billions and the trillions that the elite bankers are making, they're still making comfortable money. They're still living comfortably. Iran, since 2022, still 11.23 million. Iran, and that's probably through the rugs and perfumes, oils, things like that, coming from Iran and India. See, this list goes on forever and ever, and so now you see it put in more perspective on why it helps explain better the um, 800 plus military bases that the U.S. have around the world. It's not giving me any more. You see. That's just it's mind-boggling. Okay, and look at China, and that China's uh I'll get to it, but second answer is 15 or 16. 15 or 16 at China, the top one, who's looking to be a reflection of a Babylon. They're looking to be in the direct reflection, of Babylon. Right as far as right now, they have the largest navy in the world now, and increasing and getting bigger and growing bigger and bigger. All four branches of the military over there in China. And I'll get that in a second here. Uh, so lament for Babylon, and that kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. And that's a future prophecy we're going to witness here on this side. And that's the destruction of this place. When all those people here, they were making all this good money, and look, making all this good money here, billions, man. And imagine the amount of billionaires that come up out of that. There's a lot of billionaires in the world. That's a lot of billionaires. Okay. And now that I mentioned that China, the top being the top one, let me just try and grab that here. Second answer is 15 or 16. Let me start at 16 though. It's going to take me a second to find it because this is a big chapter. And I know the scripture is using the word Asia and Asia, if I'm correct. And they're occupying their merchandise. Give me a second here. Give me a second. And that 21, this 16, second as a 16 and 21 comes into play big time here. And let me show you what I mean. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. Here's an example of that. Well, you can look it up yourself. It is called Temu. I've gotten a few things off of Temu um, here. I have it right here. This is Temu. If you haven't heard of it already, here it is. Temu. You can, hey, you can get a lot of cheap stuff off of here. Temu. It's cheap. I mean, things is cheap, man. Okay. Temu. Okay, let me find that scripture though. It mentions that she was like her or something of that extent. Sorry, it's taking me for a minute to find it. I thought it was in 16. It might be in 15. hmm. It's like I just came from my long walk, so head is still spinning. It's right here somewhere. Here, is this it? And they that remain under her shall do service unto them that have put her in fear. And thou, Asia, there we go, that art partaker of the hope of Babylon, and art the glory of her person. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her. You know, besides the people, the nation itself, the nations itself, the people, America, I mean, China is a direct mere reflection of how, of Babylon, you know, great militaries, um, massive economies, they're even uh, taking on the so-called black man's culture, the Israelites' culture, music, rap music and fashion, not just rap music. There's a beautiful group that plays jazz, an all women's group. It's one of my favorites, and they be jamming, man. Um, just they're taking on just to be just like Babylon here. It says, made thyself just like unto her, and has decked thy daughters with in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredoms with thee. Thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore said the power, I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, famine, poverty, famine, sword, pestilence, to waste thy houses in destruction and death. So there we go. I knew I'd find it in thou age. I knew I'd find it eventually. And there are other 8 nations on the Asian continent as well that's partakers of that, of Babylon. And they're all they're on this list here. On the Asian continent. I'm not going to go through all of them, find them all. But Germany, um, Vietnam, South Korea, India, um, India, Pakistan. Where's Pakistan? Is it on this list? Pakistan at 6.56 billion. I used to have this Pakistan girl for like 3.5 years. It was a Jake. And all her and her sisters all looked like they would be in a band with Prince, like Apollonia. They all resemble Apollonia and Vanity. They were all Jakes, man. They were all Jakes. Dad always out on the grind, working, never home, trying to support the family, struggling. I never met him. I've seen him, but never met him. Seen him from a distance, but never met him. He didn't want no men at his house. I didn't care. But anyway, you see, the scriptures, man. Tell me these scriptures ain't real. Tell me these scriptures ain't real. Mm-hmm. So you see why now, how they're going to bewail her and lament for her. Where, like it says, when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Because those other nations, man, they're not morally in line. They're not serving the Lord in the least bit. And they're not looking for a change in the world. Stand off far off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones, and of pearls and fine linen, purple and silk and scarlet, and all thine wood, and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of most precious wood, and of brass, and iron, and marbles, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. And the fruit that thy soul lusteth after are departed from thee, and all things which are dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, which were made rich by her, shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, alas, alas, the great city, which is Babylon, which is America. So we're all reading about, the imports that are coming to this filthy, foul place, that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. And that's what the nations are finding that are, risk their lives through those jungle. What was that strait called that was coming through South America that I can't remember the name of it. Tar put a video up on it. A couple brothers even mentioned it. Yeah, I'd put a video up on it as well. Where they risk their and there are those that many that have lost their lives to get here because they believe in that American dream. They believe in that American dream and they want a piece of it as well. And when they get here, they're smacked in the face with reality that this place is going down. They should have made that move back in the 70s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s. But now this is time to end. This is the end of this place. This is it, man. Because it's all headed to a major collapse, and then austere measures where it's going to force people into a corner and they're going to eventually lose it, man. And all hell's going to break loose. And the term that we always use, shit hits the fan. The shit's, and that's literal. You know, it's literal on steroids. When shit hits the fan on steroids, where it's going to be seem every your life is going to be, um, it's going to seem to be hanging in a doubt from second to second. That's how bad this world is going to get. That's how bad it's going to get here in America. Period. You know, where violence is going to be the rule of the day, where death and killing is going to be the rule of the day. That's where all this is headed, man. Then ultimately, the end, when the Lord, your Lord, crack them skies and deliver us up out of here and destroy this place through thermonuclear missiles. All right, this is beautiful. So that helps you put the scripture in perspective here. This here, United States imports by country. So I hope you were edified. You know, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rakakadash, and double honors to our apostles of Great Millstone. Hail to GMS. Till next time, Lord willing, Shalom.